Namaste. In this video, I would like to demystify a practice that I believe there is some confusion about. That is Joe Dispenza's breathing meditation, the meditation to make you supernatural. Joe Dispenza has been a great influence and inspiration for me over the past few years. The work that he's done, needless to say, is incredible in allowing yoga practitioners like me to be able to combine scientific understanding to the experiential practices that we do on the mat and to blow our minds even more. And so I wanted to bring some of this information to you so as to give you the context, or rather give your mind the context that it's going to need in order to relax into the experience of the breath more fully. Alright, so Joe Dispenza's breath practice is one that requires you to breathe deep through the nose, expand your belly, suspend the breath, lock the breath in the top of your lungs all the way up to the clavicles, and as you hold the breath, to squeeze the base of the spine, to squeeze the lower centers, lift the pelvic floor, press the navel against the spine, and visualize the energy ascending through the central channel of the spine through the central nervous system, or through the Sushumna, the spiritual counterpart of the spine, and visualizing rising up all the way to the center of the brain. And then, when you can no longer hold, to exhale fully through the nose and repeat the process. Now, before we get onto the practice, I want to explain you what happens as you do this practice. Now, from a yogic anatomy point of view, we can bring the theme of the chakras into this conversation. And so, chakras are energy centers, and they are basically vortexes of energy that we find throughout the body, and we identify certain main chakras in our body. I won't go through all of them in detail in this specific video, but I want to explain you some of their mechanics. So I mentioned that the spine has a spiritual counterpart. Its spiritual counterpart, the Sushumna, is energy meridian, a channel which carries pranic life force, which carries the intelligence of the breath. You can visualize meridians in the body like rivers of pranic energy. Prana being this energy that makes every atom move, that is responsible for nature moving forward. Essentially, is the energy that wants to move through us, to move us. It is the energy that makes a child grow and learn without questioning themselves, right? And so we have about, according to the lineage in which I practice, 72,000 energy meridians in the body, 72,000 Nadis, as we call them. All those energy meridians intersect at the navel. And so you can visualize the center of the body as this crossroad for all those meridians, like little veins, invisible veins that carry pranic life force in the body. They all intersect here. And so whenever we start to stimulate the navel, whenever we do abdominal work, that starts to move all this energy, build a reserve of pranic energy, which then becomes available for all of our body-mind systems to recalibrate, rebalance, revitalize. And so doing navel work is really powerful. In addition, whenever you start to stimulate the nadis here at the navel, it is the starting point for the Kundalini energy to be stimulated. So the Kundalini energy is this energy that is represented often by the image of a coiled snake, which lies dormant at the base of the spine. When we start to create an energy surge at the navel, energy then goes down all the way to the base of the spine to stimulate this Kundalini energy. Kundalini energy being nothing but our unlimited source of wisdom and intuition and deep knowing that is available to us. So when the energy goes down from the navel to the base of the spine, it stimulates the Kundalini energy to gently go up the central channel of the spine. Now there's different meridians through which this energy travels. It travels through the central channel of the spine, the Sushumna mainly, but its pathway is being opened by the way being unobstructed through the other meridians as well. And I do this movement because I will explain in a moment which other main meridians are also responsible for this aperture to happen. Along the central channel of the spine, we have two other main meridians, the Ida and the Pingala. The Ida and the Pingala are two smaller meridians initiating the movement from the base of the spine and then traveling either side of the central channel of the spine and crisscrossing each other like so. Alright? They begin at the base of the spine, then they travel up and crisscross each other and land at the nostrils. The Ida and the Pingala. The Ida, the moon, the feminine, the Pingala, the sun, the masculine, different polarities of our being. And so when the energy travels through those meridians, it crisscrosses at different points along the central channel of the spine. Whenever this crisscrossing happens, there is a vortex of energy happening. There is an agglomeration of energy happening. Energy is heightened at this point of intersection. And this energy creates a vortex, a wheel of energy. And this wheel of energy is a chakra. It's an energy center, which then relates to different organs in the body, different systems, different emotions, different facets of our psyche, different tendencies of our psyche and emotions. And so when the energy flows freely through the Sushumna, through the Ida, the Pingala, and through the Nadis in general, there's a recalibration that happens through the chakras. There is a state of balance. And the energy can then rise freely from the lower chakras through the heart, opening the energy flow to the higher centers of consciousness all the way to the brain, increasing, enhancing our receptivity to energy which is in our field, energy also being information that we can receive, and then expanding our vibration, our energy field around us. So you can imagine our body enveloped by a field of energy which we call the electromagnetic field or the aura, and this aura is the sum total of the inner balance that we experience within. So the more balance we have within our physical body, our energetic bodies, in our emotions, in our mind, the more this translates into coherence into our field. That's for the yogic anatomy. What Joe Dispenza talks about as to how the energy moves when you practice his breathing meditation is that when you inhale deep to the full capacity of your lungs, then you lock the breath and stimulate the lower chakras. You lift the pelvic floor, and lifting the pelvic floor is as simple as squeezing the rectum and the sex organs. So you squeeze the rectum and the sex organs, the base of the spine, as though you're trying to prevent yourself from going to the bathroom, okay? So you lift the base of the spine and then you press the navel, this point below the belly button, against the spine. When you do that, when you can hold this firmly without creating excessive pressure, but simply by creating a state of command over your energy, then you start to create a stability at the base of the spine, but you start to direct the flow of the energy up through the central channel. And so energy starts to rise, and it translates in the cerebrospinal fluid, which is inside the central nervous system, inside your spine. And this fluid that brings nutrients to the brain, it causes this cerebrospinal fluid, as you apply this command, this pressure at the base of the spine, to rise up. Once again, provided that your stature is in full integrity, your spine is tall, your heart is open, your chin tucked in slightly. And we'll come to that in a second. And so when you squeeze the base of the spine, this energy rises up, 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 up to the center of the brain. The cerebrospinal fluid moves to stimulate the pineal glands, and the pineal glands is surrounded by little crystals. And when the pineal gland is stimulated by the cerebrospinal fluid flushing it, essentially flushing the brain, then those little crystals start to be charged with energy, with electricity, and start to emanate a frequency. And then there's all the ripple effects following this. And I won't get into detail, I think Joe Dispenza does that much better than me, but that then can lead into more coherence, into states and sensations of bliss, of ecstasy, of the experience of the rising of the Kundalini energy, and our brain waves coming into gamma brain waves. Brain waves which are those that are manifestations of us accessing higher states of awareness and consciousness. And so the more we practice this, the more we become in tune, attuned to the energy rising up, the more the states are accessible to us. Now, in order to get this right, we need to start from the basics. Firstly, noticing how you breathe naturally, just taking a moment to connect with the natural flow of your breath. As you inhale, does your belly expand or does your belly contract? Just take a moment to notice that. As you inhale, does your belly expand or does your navel come against the spine? Now, the way that you want to breathe at all times, whether or not you're in meditation, is as you inhale, expand the belly. As you exhale, draw the navel in. Inhale, expand the belly like a balloon. Exhale, contract the belly back towards the spine. As you inhale, the belly expands, the diaphragm drops. There is more space for your lungs to receive the air and the oxygen, more lung capacity. As you exhale, you draw the navel back in, you reverse the process of the lungs deflating and the navel coming against the spine. This is how we want to breathe, and this is how we are born breathing. When babies are born, they inhale and the belly expands, and they exhale and the belly comes in. Unfortunately, as we grow, as we start to get disconnected and drawn into states of reactivity to our environment instead of being in command and response, then our breath becomes erratic. We start to fall prey to the analytical mind, to living in our head and disconnected from our body. And for a lot of us as adults, the breath starts to become what we call paradoxical, so reversed. Instead of expanding the belly as we inhale. We draw the navel in as we inhale, and we have much less space to receive air. And so we start to breathe like so. The breath becomes shorter, erratic, and that leads to more states of stress, anxiety, worry. You know what happens next, all right? So if that's your case, please don't judge yourself for it, because this is how most of us breathe as adults. You want to retrain yourself firstly before you do anything else to get the breath right. Inhale as you expand the belly, exhale as you draw the navel against the spine. Now, please, if that's your case, pause this video, take a couple of days to exercise this, and then come back to the practice. You'll get so much more out of your meditation if you get this part right. It is so key. I cannot stress this enough. If there's one thing you retain, is breathe consciously and from the belly, and stay connected with the evenness of your breath. So powerful. Right, now coming back into the context that allows you to get the most out of this meditation. Your posture is next. You want your spine to be nice and tall, so find a seat that allows you to do so in a comfortable posture. If you are comfortable seated cross-legged, then that's great. You may also elevate your spine with a cushion like I'm doing to allow your spine to be nice and tall. You can sit on a sofa, you can sit on a chair. If you're sat on a sofa or on a chair, place your feet flat onto the earth and make sure once again that your spine can be tall, that you're not compressing the heart and that you're not rounding the spine. And now just find a moment, come into your seat and feel into the spine being tall. Close your eyes and feel into what it means for you to sit with a straight spine. Connect with the inflow and the outflow of your breath and gradually start to lengthen the spine. From the base all the way up. Notice as you inhale and your belly expands, how the lower back arches and the sacrum comes back. And as you exhale, as the navel comes against the spine, how the sacrum scoops in, tilts slightly. And you want that to happen because that is what's going to also initiate the movement of the energy, the movement of the cerebrospinal fluid. But although you want that to happen at the base of the spine, you don't want this to be followed by a rounding and a compression of the heart. So allow the belly to expand and the sacrum to move forward and back, but keep the heart open, the shoulder blades relax back. And try not to hold any tension in this area whatsoever. Be conscious to release tension, to drop the shoulder blades back. And so the base of the spine is engaged, the navel is in, the heart is open and the shoulder blades are back. Focus always, ask yourself the question, is my heart open? Am I open in this moment? And then finally, you want to keep the back of the neck long, so you're going to tuck the chin very slightly. It's a very subtle movement of the chin, as though you're subtly bowing your head to the heart, surrendering the busyness of the mind to the heart. So the back of the neck comes into a straight line. So that's going to look like this. You're sitting straight. As you inhale, the belly inflates. The lower back arches slightly, and as you exhale, the belly comes in. There's a slight tilting in the sacrum, but the heart remains open, the shoulder blades back, and the spine tall. So resist the temptation to round, to compress the heart, to drop the head forward, to drop the head back, but visualize yourself as a straight line, because that line is the pathway for the energy to rise and for clarity to be received. All right, is the pathway for you to start to vibrate high. So always feeling to ease my spine straight. And that is what is going to allow you to relax into the exercise. Now, if you're new to this, the practice that Joe Dispenza shares, when you inhale deep through the nose, you expand the belly, you hold the breath in, and as you hold the breath in at the top of your lungs, you want to even inhale a little bit more. Maybe take a little sniff more. Hold the breath fully, lock it in the clavicles. And as you hold, draw the lower tendons in. So draw the base of the spine, lift the pelvic floor, press the navel against the spine. But in this state of command of the energy at the base of the spine, you don't want to be holding any unnecessary tension. So you're holding the breath. Don't let any breath leak out, but yet you are relaxed. So that's going to take practice. When you exhale, then you're going to exhale smoothly, fully through the nose. Reversing the process, drawing the navel against the spine. So inhale. Belly comes out. You have the full capacity of your lungs, but here at the top of your breath, you're going to take one more sniff. That's it. Lock the breath in the clavicles. Really lock it. Don't let any breath come out. Now squeeze the base of the spine. Rectum, sex organs, and navel in. Hold. No tension. Relax as you hold. You hold the breath. You hold the root lock. And then exhale fully through the nose. Taking your time not to cut corners, but to fully exhale all the breath out, drawing the navel in. So if you're new to this, it's going to take practice for you to be able to stay relaxed in this state of breath retention. Be kind to yourself. Focus on creating ease. It's going to take time for your lung capacity to expand, for your diaphragm to flex. We're not used to using the diaphragm consciously. We as humans tend to only use 30% of our lung capacity. When we start to breathe, to practice those yogic breath exercises that lead us to breathe consciously, fully and deliberately, is when we can access the full capacity of our lungs. So before you're able to actually relax into the hold so as to hold and move the energy up without creating unnecessary tension, it's going to take time simply for you to create that space to recognize your capacity to relax. And so be kind to yourself. Just take your time to practice holding the breath in and exhaling fully through the nose. Inhaling, holding, but being relaxed into that space of hold. And exhale fully through the nose. A lot of us are going to be triggered by this hold because we are so tight within that we, as we hold the breath, experience constriction, experience what we would judge as tension. And so be kind, wrap your experience with loving awareness and give yourself the time to recognize that you can be at ease and to create spaciousness within. Equally, as we exhale, we are not used to be in such command of our breath and to remain deliberate, to keep our breath smooth and full as we exhale. As we exhale the breath out, we find ourselves without breath. And so there's a lot of letting go and acceptance that needs to happen in that space. And another aspect of it is that we start to train the autonomic nervous system, our capacity to balance between the sympathetic nervous system, our capacity to be in a fight or flight mode, to be in action, and our parasympathetic nervous system, our capacity to rest and digest. And so when we create ease in our body, when we are able to move from breath expansion to breath release, to holding and to letting go, then we exercise our capacity to balance the action and the rest within our body. And that is really one of the great gifts of any of those practices. When you are able to be in command of your energy, when your nervous system is a strong container for you to go through life without being shaken, without being anxious, but just being grounded in your being, and choose as you are in action, in rest, in fight or flight, in digests, when you are receiving, or when you are setting healthy boundaries. There is so many benefits from practicing breathing and meditation exercises, and that is an agility that is such a gift to have in your day-to-day. Anyway, lots of talking going on here. Please remember, breathing from the belly, exhaling all the air out, drawing the navel in as you exhale, and keeping your spine tall. Give yourself time to practice and exercise. Let's have a few rounds of this breath together. Now find a comfortable seat. Rest your hands on your knees. You can perhaps bring your palms to face up and the first two fingers of each hand to touch in what we call Gyan Mudra. That's another way that we have to seal the energy in the brain, to access knowledge and wisdom. And then from that space, take just a couple of natural breaths. Establish a conscious connection with the breath through the nose. And then inhale deep through the nose. Inhaling fully. When you think you've inhaled fully and you feel the lungs filled with air, take just another little sniff of air. And lock the breath in the clavicles here. Don't let any breath leak out. And then squeeze the base of the spine, rectum, sex organs, and navel in, and press the navel against the spine. That's it. Just begin by doing this. Hold the breath in, be in command of the energy. And then when you need to exhale, exhale smoothly through the nose. And then inhale deep again. Filling the lungs, fully expanding the belly. And then take another sip of air just with one extra sniff. Hold the breath. Squeeze the base of the spine. Lift the pelvic floor. Press the navel in firmly. Be very intentional with these holds. And now add your intention and attention. Visualize this energy rising up from the base of the spine. Start to lift the contraction to the upper abdomen. Contract the upper abdomen as well as the base, and follow the pathway of the energy through the heart. Keep the heart open and soft. Just visualize the energy rising through the heart, the throat, the third eye. Your eyes are closed, resting your gaze at the point between your eyebrows. And hold this visualization. And when you need to exhale, exhale smoothly through the nose. Smoothly also means fully. And inhale deep again. Suspend the breath to the full capacity of your lungs and take another sniff in. Lock the breath in the clavicles. Don't let any air leak out. Now squeeze the base of the spine. Lift the pelvic floor. Press the navel against the spine. In full command of the energy. But don't hold any tension in the heart. Stay soft in the shoulders, in the face. Now bring awareness to this energy rising up. Bring your attention to the base of the spine. Visualize the energy rising up. Stay firm in the way that you hold the energy at the base. Really firm, navel drawn in firmly. And then bring the energy up and contract the upper abdomen. Now keep holding and visualize this energy rising up through the heart. Keep the heart soft, don't contract the heart. Visualize this energy then moving from the heart, that is the shift, opening your consciousness to see it from a place of love, and then gently rising through the throat, removing harshness from your speech, opening you to speak your truth with resonance. And then the energy rising up to the third eye and to the center of the brain. And then exhale fully through the nose, stay within, keep your attention, your energy within. And inhale deep again. Suspend the breath, take another sip in. Lock the breath into the clavicles. Soften the heart, relax the shoulder blades back, squeeze the base of the spine firmly. Pelvic floor, navel in. Visualize the flow of energy. Where your attention goes, as we know, energy flows. So bring your attention through the central channel of the spine. The energy rising up to the center of the brain. And then exhale, release. One more time, deep breath in. Really full breath. And another sniff in. Lock the base of the spine. Draw the navel in. Focus your gaze now at the third eye point, as though you're looking at a screen between the eyebrows, rolling your eyes gently up and in, and press the tongue at the roof of the mouth. Press the tongue at the upper palate. Now hold. Just hold. Exhale. We'll do this a couple more times. Inhale. Suspend the breath. Take another sniff in. Lock the breath into the clavicles. And squeeze the roots lock, the base of the spine. Lift the pelvic floor, navel firmly in. Press the tongue at the roof of the mouth and focus your gaze at the third eye. Just feel into what's happening here as your gaze is focused. You are channeling the energy up from the base of the spine. You're pressing the tongue at the roof of the mouth, stimulating meridian points in the upper palate to, in turn, also awaken the brain. And then exhale fully through the nose. And one more time, deep breath in. Hold. Another little sniff in. That's it. Firm intention not to let the energy and the breath leak out. Squeeze the roots lock, the base of the spine. Navel firmly in. Contract the upper abdomen now. Press the tongue at the roof of the mouth. Gaze focused, third eye. And exhale, relax the breath. Sit still for a moment. Just receive the effects of this simple exercise. Notice the stability in your energy, in your mind. When we start to transmute the energy in the lower centers into the higher realms of consciousness, we start to experience this coherence in the field, the coherence between the head and the heart as the energy moves from the lower centers through the heart. It moves from the heart to the brain, accelerating, opening our awareness, our consciousness, quieting the busyness of the mind, so we may experience this state of coherence from which we experience space. A space to witness our thoughts and actions and choose our thoughts and actions deliberately. No longer prey to living in reaction to our environment, but pausing to respond with consciousness, pausing to release old ways, rewrite our story, and expand our vibration. Beautiful. If you're struggling to build your lung capacity and to relax into the breath retention, another way that you have to practice to begin with is to divide the breath into little segments, into little sniffs. So same way as when we inhale deep, but then I tell you to take one little more sniff of breath, you can instead just divide the breath into equal sniffs. So perhaps doing 10 sniffs in and 10 sniffs out. So it would look like so. After 10, hold the breath in for a second or two, and then exhale through the nose in 10 equal segments again. Hold the breath out, and repeat again. Hold and reverse. Exhale, 10 equal sniffs. And continue at your own pace. So that's a wonderful exercise to do on a daily basis, just to build your attunement to your body, to your lungs, to your diaphragm, and just relax the tension in the muscles within, so that then you can practice the actual meditation with more ease. I hope you found this explanation useful. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch or drop a message. And if you're interested in working more with me, there's many ways that we can work together one-on-one or in group classes and work with movement, breath, meditation, so as to access your authenticity and release ways which no longer serve you. Namaste and have a blessed day.